just kind of jump in here. Today I'm making my third hatchet, this style hatchet, you know, the wraparound. I have it isolated, all my material. So I found a center line and I went ½ inch off each side, and that gave me roughly around an inch. I've already got one side forged out. So I have this set down on the far side there, and that's going to isolate the back of the heel. And then I have the set down on the near side here, and that's going to isolate the front of the eye socket. So I picked up some kind of goober. All right. So this is eventually going to get wrapped around and folded up. I also got my taper to kind of fit the bit when I go to forge weld everything together. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the other side and make a mirror copy. I already got my line in, so I'm going to find that line right here on the edge of the anvil, find a sharp part of my anvil, and we're going to do a set down, get that started, and then we're going to flip it over, find a sharp part of the anvil, and do the same thing. So we're going to mirror this side, and then of course we'll come back and put the taper in. So that's kind of where we're at. I just went ahead and finished up one side. One thing I did do is I started with some material that was 1 inch longer than the last hatchet I did. I only had 7 inches overall length when I started that one. This one was actually 8 inches. And that extra inch is giving me a little bit of a flat spot here. Give it a little bit more forge welding meat in there when I go to, you know, to wrap this thing around. And another adjustment I made compared to the last one is when I isolated or marked out the material for the eye, instead of going 1.5 off of the mark for the heel, I only went 1 inch. So the eye socket's going to be a lot smaller to fit my axe drift better. In the last one, I had to come back and fill the front of the eye with MIG wire, with MIG weld, to kind of take up the difference so I could get my drift in there. I just made the socket too big. Kind of wound up being some extra work and a pain in the butt, but in the end it all worked out. But I don't want to have to do that again, so that's why I'm going to revisit this, and hopefully with these dimensions I'll be able to get something that I can make repeatable. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get it in the forge, get it hot again, and yeah, start the hammering on. Alright, let's find my line. Come on now. Come on now. So I do most of my work up here in this part of the anvil. So I got these edges rounded. Back here in the back, I keep the edges kind of sharp, just for this particular reason. And I guess everyone else in the free world does the same thing. Alright, so I got that isolated. Now I'm going to come up here and find this line. Do the same thing. Alright. Let's find my line here. now I'm just going to alternate back and forth until I get it opened up as far as I have this side. Alright, come back over here. Alright, so now that I got my area isolated, I'm going to work the front for the front of the eye socket, and then on the near side of the anvil for in front of the heel. So right now I'm just kind of working the edge. But as it spreads, I'll be able to lay it flatter. That's all I'm going to get out of that. Yeah, these things are kind of, I'm not going to say hard, but just get confusing sometimes when you're trying to just kind of remember the process in your head. So now I can actually lay it flat on the anvil. And it looks like we got to go about another 1/4 of an inch. All right, back at it. I'm trying not to hit the heel here. Because that would be counterproductive. I think I'm about there. Pretty close anyways. All right, I'm gonna take one more heat. Kind of focus putting this side on the face of the anvil. Get those forge marks out. If I get any majority of the forge marks out, put them inside the socket. All right, so now I'm gonna hammer my taper in. Stock was a little crooked, but and at the end, but I'm gonna match it up on the grinder so it'll be fine. This is kind of the line right here that I'm paying attention to. This one right here. That's the, those are the two areas I want to match pretty well. Alright, so I'm going to stick it back in the forge and hit it from this side. Alright, there it is. So I am ready to fold this thing up. I can't fold it up all the way, so I'm going to have to get it cleaned up inside here. Get ready for the forge weld. I'm going to take one final look at it. Yeah, everything looks pretty close, so I got the hatchet cleaned up on the belt sander. Now I'm going to close this up, and we're going to get a little bit of flux in here as I close it. And I'm going to weld the top and the bottom together. I'm going to try to keep as much oxygen out of the hatchet as I can. So I'm going to use the MIG welder to weld up the seams, and I'm going to push. I'm going to leave the front open. And as I forge weld it, I'm going to push all the impurities or whatever to the front, and then we're going to get the bit in there after we get this section here forge welded. So, but first we got to go ahead and get it folded up. Alright, so I got everything closed up. I put a bead of Meg across the bottom, top and bottom. So now I'm going to get it in, crank up the pressure, start to forge weld this. Just gonna tap it in. going to do some tidying up here. I think the forge welding went good. These are just kind of some punishing blows. Just taking out any lumps or wonkiness. I'm going to go ahead and let it cool down. I'm going to trim the excess bit off, and then I'm going to continue to shape the hatchet head. But yeah, everything looks pretty good. Probably still a hair too big on the eye for my drift. I isolated 1 inch of material, but by the time I got the cheeks to the thickness I wanted them, yeah, still a little bit too big. Maybe next time, 3/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna have to make a mental note or write all these dimensions down. So we'll figure something out. But this one's going a lot better than the last one I did. Not that the last one I did wasn't a good hatchet. I just had to do some filling in with a MIG welder, and cleaning all that up with a file on the inside of the eye, and it just took time. It wasn't anything hard about it. It just took time. So I'm going to let this cool down. I'm going to trim the excess bit off. I'm going to continue to shape the front of the hatchet, and as long as I don't mess the eye up or distort it too bad doing that, yeah, the forging will be about done. So let this cool down, and next time I bring it back, all this excess bit will be gone, and we'll be shaping up the edge. So hold on. All right, so I got the bit trimmed up. I'm just going to try to get this front weld kind of blended in a little bit more. Kind of using my rounder. This is what it looks like so far. Actually, it turned out pretty good. Get my mark in here. Alright, so here's the hatchet after the profile. Got everything cleaned up. Got a Scotch-Brite finish on the edge portion. I ground back all that excess bit and got just right up here where the 1095 starts. So you can kind of see the seam a little bit. You can definitely see it like right here, but I just stopped the grinding process. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing in for heat treat, and then I'm going to temper it in a 400 degree oven. I'm just going to heat treat the front portion where the high carbon steel is, and yeah, I just wanted to show it off before it goes into heat treat. So this is where we're at. This is the top, and of course the bottom. So that's kind of how it's going to look in the handle. And yeah, As long as this thing goes through the heat treat without any issue, then this will pretty much be a done deal, so hold on. Alright, so we're in for heat treat. That 1070 or medium carbon steel body, probably not going to harden that much, but the 1095 and its oil will harden, so hopefully all the forge welds survive. I'm just going to leave it in the oil until all that red kind of fades off to black. And then it's going to go straight into the house. I got a 425 degree oven already preheated, so I'll keep it in there for a few hours, and yeah, I'll bring it back and we'll show you, what we wound up with, and this thing will be ready for a handle, so stay tuned. Alright, so heat treat went well. I got everything cleaned up. I did actually soak it in some vinegar for a day, and it got rid of a bunch of the big scale flakes that I was having trouble hammering off from where it was at forge welding temperature for so long. But everything turned out really nice. I went ahead and tempered it in the oven last night at 425 degrees for a couple hours after the heat treat. So the only thing left now to do is to put the final edge on and get this thing hafted onto a handle. But I'm going to end this video here. You're going to see this thing on my Instagram, all finished up with the handle, all ready to go, ready to be listed on my Etsy store. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. This is my third attempt on this hatchet, so this style of hatchet, I should say. And yeah, it's going to be a fourth and a fifth, and I'm slowly, fine-tuning my measurements, all this, that, and the other. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down, get this video uploaded. I'll get you some close-up pictures with the camera, and yeah, remember to like, share, subscribe. Check me out on Rumble. Check me out on Instagram. I'm also on X. Check out my Etsy store. I think I have links to most of that below, but if not, Metal Man Productions can probably get you there wherever you're at. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your support, and we'll catch you on the next one.